Alaska. I was going to include it in all the other of America, obviously, but it's what I'm afraid of is really the earthquakes for Alaska at the moment. The snow isn't as much as it used to be, and that's causing its own problems and issues. But what I'm worried about for Alaska is that they're going to see after about April far more along this, I'm sure that's a fault line here, far more heavier duty earthquakes. We're looking at quite a few in the sixes, mid sixes, upwards to 7.5 earthquakes in Anchorage. Well, not Anchorage specifically, just outside Anchorage, but all around this strait here. I think it's called the Bering Straits, but anyway, basically it's coming down even this whole system. Don't know where the line is. I haven't got the earthquake map on yet, but it is going down to Oregon, and Oregon did have a big one recently. So I really feel that the earthquakes situation for Alaska is getting worse, I'm afraid, which is sad. But anyway, there are snow I'm going to see is far more intense, I would say, around about middle of January right through to mid-May, that you'll see the snow, but nothing like it used to be, I'm afraid. And that I really feel is global warming, but I'll stay out of those politics rather. Okay, and that's it for Alaska at the moment. If there's anything more, they are going to have a few tornadoes, I will say, just because we're concentrating just on Alaska here. There are going to be a few more tornadoes, and this is more or less anything ranging from an EF1 to 2, and it doesn't do too much devastation since it's in areas which is more or less uninhabited, but it's still there, a possibility. Anything else, I'll make sure I fill that in for you, okay? Thanks for joining me for Alaska. I'm going to bring up Alaska again, but Alaska I've actually sectioned out because I don't mean to leave you on the side there, but I just want to let you know regarding hatred and racism, you are going to also experience in Anchorage, definitely, and other areas where it's a denser population. That is why a lot of Alaskans prefer to be, I don't want to say isolated, but to themselves, and know who they can trust, and everything else. So please be careful, and you can watch what I told, what I've said on the video for the rest of America. But Alaska is not as bad, is not going to be as bad as the mainland of America. But it is worth watching, and I had put in that I will be doing a separate video on how to protect yourselves. Okay? And as for other specific things in Alaska that's happening, earthquakes, etc., I have put a video together which I will upload hopefully within the next week or two. Thank you. I also want to make sure that in America I cover Alaska in this polar vortex. So I'm just going to, oopsie daisy. That's better. So as I said, the polar vortexes are coming in from here. One weird one is coming in here. Clips the tip, but it's quite a large band, the polar vortex, and it's coming like that. And that's the one that's coming in here and hits this part of Canada. But Alaska is going to see more snow, even though it has been very light in its snow. in the past few years, and the heat is actually, and that's climate change as well. You are going to see extremes of 35, 40 below, not only with the polar vortex, but round about, let's see, there's a mini one coming on the 28th of December. Then on January 29th, there's one that's going to hit here, and it doesn't come all the way to mainland America, but it's really going to hit Alaska and Yukon and things like that. So it's going down to about minus 55, could be up to even as low as minus 65 degrees. So please be careful. I know that there are Alaskans who do care about, especially when you belong to a tribe, they look after the elders, which is such a lesson to so many people out here. And I wish they'd learn that. But make sure that the elderly and your elders are looked after, and the young ones. But please be prepared round about that time. There's another one in just before March, so it's really, that's kind of March 1st, but it starts 2 days at the end of February. That one is only going to go to about minus 35 to 40, but it carries such winds, the polar vortex. And if you have time, please look at that video I talked about the extreme cold in America, not only Alaska, but I'm telling Canada to view that one. But basically you're going to see high winds, but funnily enough, it's not really here, it's in this portion here that is part of the polar vortex, and it actually carries the winds. There's like a central, how can I say this, central area where it literally comes down that. It's corridor is a good word for it. So it literally, those high winds travel down to Washington and Seattle and kind of peter out basically before the mountains, and into a kind of peak in end round about Oregon. But these are the high wind areas that on British Columbia, Vancouver, most of Alaska, Anchorage definitely, and it's from here and it comes down to a cone, and that's the corridor that you're going to see those high winds. Could be as high as 65 to 75, could be 80, so please be careful. And where it's property damage, secure your roofs, etc., and any loose items. Okay, let me know. And I know there's one friend who's there in Alaska, and I apologize to him, Bobby, and that I haven't got back to him. It's been a bit of a crazy year for me, but basically I'd really appreciate your comments, and just leave them on the YouTube comments if it's to do with the weather only, and if there's any confirmation to any of these. All right, thank you, I appreciate it. And again, if you have time, you might like to watch Canada. Alaska should really think of that. But the Canadian weather obviously affects Alaska. All right, and thank you for joining me.